Hey everyone, today we are going to learn about the pivot table. Okay, pivot table is used for summarizing your data. When you created a pivot table, you see the section or fields like row, column values and filters. Okay, it is used to find the total, average, counts and trends without using any formula. Also, we can refresh our data when the data is changed. Pivot table design. The layout of the design is like a tabular or we can say outline forms. Here what we can do, add subtotals or remove them based on need. Okay. We can also create a grand total for full summary. Pivot table analyst tool. We can insert the calculated field to create your own matrix. Group days by month, quarter and year. Okay. We can group the numbers into the range. Drill down by double clicking a number to see source rows. It also shows the value in percentage or percentage of total, percentage of differences, also running totals. Okay. Also, we can refresh it when you are linked multiple table. Means our data is changed in a sum table, so we need to refresh all of them so that our summary, whatever summary we have created, it should be updated. Also, we can insert the slicers and timeliner. Let's see it by practically. So this is my data set and these are the things I need to perform. Okay. So first we need to create the pivot table. So select your data, Control Shift right arrow to select the row column, Control Shift down arrow to select your whole data. Okay. Go to Insert tab. Here you see pivot table. Click here from the table range. Okay. It will ask you whether you wanted to create it in new worksheet or in existing worksheet. If you want it in a existing worksheet, just click here and give the reference cell. For example, here I wanted in J3, J2, I wanted the pivot table. Click OK. Here you see a pivot table is created and this is pivot table field. Okay, but I don't want here. I want in a new sheet. There's one another method you can create the pivot table. Just click on any cell in your data. Go to insert, click pivot table from table range. Okay, it automatically select the range from A1 to G9972 rows. Okay, and here by default new worksheet is clicked. If you want, you need to click on existing worksheet, but right now I wanted to create in new worksheet. Click OK. It create a new sheets and add the pivot table. Okay, let's do this task there. Here I can change the sheet name as pivot, and here if you select any range here, this field is activated. If you go, okay, so this is activated. If you click anywhere else where this pivot is not showing, then that field is automatically gone. So these are the things I need to do. So first question is sales repository. Why is revenue on? Okay, means the person who are make that sale. Why is the revenue we earn? Okay, so sales, just drag this column and drop in rows. Okay, these are the people who sold our product. Based on that, I want revenue to drag it and drop in values. It summarize the data based on the person here. Okay, if you want values in ascending, so go in here first cell where your values is started, right click. Here you see sort and sort largest to smallest. It's sorted. Okay, this person sold out something and the revenue of that is 1,25,000. Okay, unit wise, if you want it, just click on the unit and drop here. So this much unit this person is sold and the revenue of that is this one. Okay, Now we need to find out the reason wise revenue. For that, again you need to go here, insert and insert pivot table, you need to do it. But one more method is there. Just copy this, just copy this table and paste it here. Again new pivot table is created and this is pivot 7. If you see here, new pivot we are created. Now what I want, the person who sold the product, region wise revenue I wanted. Reason I'm going to drag and drop the column in the column section and the revenue here. So you see region wise revenue of this person, okay, and grand totals row wise, also column wise. Next is product wise region revenue earned. So next again we need to create a here now I will create a pivot table. Okay, you can copy the same pivot table and drop it in different cell. From the table range, I go back to the data here. From the table range, it selected this range existing file, but in the pivot and here I am given that the location pivot A46. Here I create a pivot table. So it created a pivot table. Okay. And what was the question? Product wise reason revenue earned. Okay. So this is my product in rows. I just drag it and drop in rows. Revenue earned. Revenue in values. But product wise reason wise revenue earned. Okay. So this is my region and this is my products. Okay, so let's just shift rows and columns. So this is my product and region wise what revenue I have earned. Okay, without using any formula, you see this amount. Here you can see the average also. Click on this revenue, go to value field setting, you can see the average also. Okay, if I click, so this is the average revenue of the product region wise. Also you can see the maximum and the minimum also. So this is a maximum earn this product maximum earn from the region. Okay, likewise you can change the values, sum, count, max, min. Okay, next question is monthly revenue earned. Again just copy this table and here paste it and just remove this all the field. Okay, so what it asks, monthly revenue earned. So my monthly is in date column, so just drag and drop in rows. So this is my date. So this is year wise, 2020-15 and 2020-16. Okay, and quarter wise I have the month's name also, but I just want month wise revenue. So just remove this year. Now you see quarter wise January, February, just remove this quarter. So month, and also I have date with that month, but I don't want date either. So I just remove that field also. So now you see only the months I have left out. And I want revenue, the month wise. This is the month wise revenue. If I add this quarter, year, quarter and the month, you will see in 2025 this is my revenue. Here you see a plus icon. If I click here, quarter wise the revenue you will see here. If I again click here, month wise revenue you will see. So but the question is month wise revenue. So this is its result. Next is add slicer for year filter. So we can add the slicers also. Click here, go to this pivot table analyzer, and here you see a slicer. What slicer does is filter the data. Okay, let's click the slicer. So here you see date wise, sales people, region wise, product wise, color, unit. We can create a slicers, okay, month wise, and I will say product wise I wanted two slices, also this repository wise, and region wise I created four slices. If I click OK, so you see four slices are there. Now I need to add the slicers, okay. Right now I will create only one slicer to show you. Go to pivot analyzer, go to slicer, create a sales repository slicer. Here, if I click anyone, you see only the revenue from that person. Now this slicer is connected to this pivot table, but you wanted to to connect with all the table. So here in this, when you created a slicer, when you activated that, you see a slicer option. Here, go to that option and report connection. Click here. Only pivot 6 is connected. This is pivot 6. Select to all the pivot table. Okay. Click OK. So see all the pivot option, only the person. If you change it, so likewise your table data is changed. So it is helpful when you wanted to filter out the data. Some values. Okay. Timeline. Okay. Click on your pivot table, go to the pivot table analyzer, click on insert timeline. So timeline only use the data, date column. Click OK because we have only date column. Okay, this is the timeline. Here you can change it by dragging and dropping, month wise, quarter wise if you wanted. This is a quarter wise. Okay, for example, I only want this quarter, control, or this quarter. So you see that the data is changing based on the selection. Month wise if you want, so you can click, this is a month range. Okay, only the April month, what the revenue and the unit sold based on the salesperson. Okay, here also you one more option is visible when you created a timeline. Go this timeline, report connection, only the first pivot table is connected. If you want, multi pivot table should be connected, and based on this selection you want the result, so you can connect that also. Go to report connection, and here you can connect the pivot tables. Okay, so this is about the pivot table. Okay, pivot table adds is used to summarize the data without using any functions. Okay, and this is helpful when you are creating a reports. Slicers, and this is a slicer, help you as a filtering out the data. Next is the timeline. When you have a date in your data set, you can create a timeline. Also you can change it day wise, month wise, year wise, and quarter wise also. So this is nothing but the pivot table design, and pivot table analyst tool, also the slicers and timeline. One more thing, for example, here if you double tap, it shows the detailed table. It created a detailed table, and where that particular result come from. Okay, how you can see, just double click there and you will see from the source of the particular data. It is a new table which is representing this values only. Okay, detailed tree. Likewise, you can create the different table and save it based on that. So see, we click only this sales repo here, this person. So it shows the detail where the region wise the product sold, the color, unit, and revenue. If I click somewhere else like this person, if I double tap here, you see unit sold, revenue, color, this repo name. So this shows you the source of the data, and also you can save it for future use. So this is nothing but the pivot table, and how we can insert the slicers and the timeline. So see you in next video.